The demon tower. Explosions, smoke, debris and dust. Those are basically all the things you can make out in the middle of a fierce battle. The mage was blown away by fascination. And well, literally blown away by the queen's explosions. She landed on the concrete floor with a loud thud, rolling about because of the ferocious impact. You can just about hear the queen's heels clacking on the floor. Each closer step she took walking slowly to the mage was very suspenseful. You would never even predict what her next actions will be. The demon queen sniggered again, seeing the mage's barely conscious state. "Did you actually think that a measly human like you could beat me?" the queen asked with a prideful glint in her eyes. "All your party members are all gone. Their caskets have already respawned at the capital," the breathtakingly beautiful demon said while pointing at the mage on the ground. "Just give up already," she said with a smirk yet again. "Never. You might have won today, but..." She paused and looked up to the demon queen with determination evident in her eyes. "I'll definitely be back again," the mage yelled desperately while trying to sit back up. "You can count on it. I swear on my adventure's honor." She paused before smiling genuinely at the woman in front of her. Now she was standing up, which was a miracle because considering all her wounds she can still do that. "I will make you mine." She held out her right arm out to the demon queen and the left one rests on her chest. The demon queen was dumbfounded, while Sana was staring intently with a wide smile, also slightly turning pink knowing she just made the demon queen blush. "For the 9th time, I will not go out with you," the demon yelled while a red flare-like ball emerged from her hand, slowly getting bigger the angrier she got. Well, of course she was still blushing. A sweat fell from the mage's face as she glanced at the queen's angry face before looking back at the ball, which was as large as a meteor now because the queen is mad off her limits. Well, fuck is all she could think of at that deadly moment because she was already blown out of the tower, immediately killing her. You could literally see her casket-turned body flying away like it's being carried by the wind. The queen just watched with fire in her eyes. "That insolent brat," she yelled into nothing. Still red as ever, it's as if you could see the cartoony smoke coming out of her ears. "Who the hell does she think she is? Coming here over and over to spout such infuriating nonsense?" She groaned into the dark night, which was clearly seen because of the large hole she blasted Sana out of. Acting so nauseatingly cute and confident at the same time. If she thinks she can win me over, then she has another thing coming. She is literally drowning in her own frustrations. Meanwhile, 2 goat-like henchmen were hiding behind the wall whispering to each other, watching the queen's outburst. "There goes our queen, ranting about the girl again," sighed the first henchman. "Bless, will she be okay?" asked the other one, while the first just shrugged, still listening to the demon spitting foul words towards the mage. Sana's best friend is in the Faustina church waiting for her to revive. She was already used to Sana being reckless just to make the queen hers. She stopped trying to the dumb mage because she knows she still wouldn't listen to her. She just sheathed her sword in its scabbard with a clank and a heavy sigh and was sitting comfortably on the pew right in front of the altar waiting for the mage to revive. She couldn't even remember how many times she sat in that exact spot because of always waiting for her best friend. "Head priest, sir, some adventurers don't have enough gold," an altar boy said to the head priest worriedly. "Then toss him out. No gold, no revive," he answered casually, before spotting Jeongyeon nearby. "Hey you, what are you still doing here?" he asked with an annoyed expression while pointing an accusatory finger at the swordswoman. "I'm waiting for a friend to respawn," she answered with a blank and emotionless face. The priest just rolled his eyes and turned back. But as he did that, a casket appeared in front of him with a poof of smoke. It startled him that he fell over. Sana was labeled on the casket. "There she is," said Jeongyeon with a bored face. "She fought the demon queen alone," blurted the girl with a sword. "What? Oh, that should have been traumatic for the kid," said the old guy while casting his revive spell on Sana's overused casket. "Well, everything would have been fine if that's the case." Jeongyeon rolled her eyes at that because she knows that's not the real reason. The priest has already walked away to attend to other adventurers willing to pay up to be revived before seeing the eye roll directed at him. She kneeled down to open the dumb one's casket with a creak. When she looked inside, she wasn't surprised by what she saw. There inside the box was Sana holding her chest tightly, drooling and blushing like a tomato, twitching and turning, feeling all hot and bothered because of the said demon. You could literally see hearts forming around her thinking about the queen. "Ahaha, Queen Tizu's gaze when she blasted me out of the tower was so freaking hot," she said, more like slurred, with her eyes closed. Dirty thoughts were filling her brain, not even trying to shake them out. Meanwhile, Jeongyeon was disgusted looking at this horrid display. Jeongyeon continued in her mind, then facepalmed and sighed at her ambitious friend. Sana sat up, then looked at the disappointed swordsman with that glint in her eyes that Jeongyeon knew all too much. "Jeonji, I wanna see my queen again." She grinned with her fist up in the air. In a world where demons and humans are in constant strife, human adventurers seek to challenge the Demon Tower, the home of the demons, which boasts over 100 levels. In every 15th floor they are faced by a demon general. At the tower's highest level awaits the Demon Lord. All adventurers aim to reach the top to take the Demon Lord's head and restore peace to mankind. All but one. Flashback. A small figure in a green cloak can be seen walking inside the Queen's throne room. "My, I think you are the youngest to have ever reached this floor," said a deep and sultry voice coming from the throne. There sat the Queen on the throne in all her glory. "Are you sure you are ready to take my head, little girl?" The said girl with a cloak just blinked at the question, then pouted. "Why would I do that?" Sana asked back with a huff. Tizuyu was alarmed at the unexpected question that was fired back. Sana continued, "I think you're prettier if you keep it attached to your body." She trailed off with a blush and is now fidgeting. Tizuyu rolled her eyes and just ignored it, asking another question. "If that's not the case, then what the hell are you here for?" she asked, slumping on her throne. "Please, let me introduce myself." She shifted the cloak hood off of her head. It is revealed to be a young-looking girl that looks too innocent to even hurt a fly. "I'm Sana Minadazaki, a mage from the Adventurers Academy." Sana was still blushing because of the Queen's gaze directed at her. The demon scrutinized Sana's form. "Too pure. I challenge you to a battle, Demon Queen Tizuyu." She was now clutching at her cloak because of nervousness, because she might anger the Queen with what she's gonna say next. "And if I win, you'll become my lover." Meanwhile, Tizuyu was just staring at her intently, not knowing what to do with the mage's conditions if she loses. "And my queen." Sana couldn't even finish what she was saying when she was engulfed with flames that are hot as the As you may have guessed, of course she died immediately. Sana was sulking in her casket with her knees tucked to her chest while sucking her thumb like a kid who got spanked. Jeongyeon was awkwardly patting her head, trying to console the big baby while saying there half-heartedly. "She one-hit KO'd me. That was so freaking embarrassing." Sana trailed off and cried more. And that was the two's first meeting, and Sana's first defeat. Adventures Academy, Faustina Branch. "It's no use, I still haven't figured out what Queen Tizuyu's attack pattern is," Sana said. Her face still buried in a pink journal, her stomach grumbling at the same time. Her best friend, Yu Jeongyeon, just silently stared at her. "She kills me off too quickly," she continued, now scribbling on the journal. "As I thought, I should focus on enhancing my speed and defense first." Sana rambled on, continuing to write down notes. Jeongyeon sighed, staring at Sana with pity. "How many times has it been, Sana?" 10. No. That was the 12th, I think," Sana answered, putting the tip of the pencil on her lips, thinking deeply. Jeongyeon looked at her with playful disgust before accusing her with pervert harasser. This offended Sana, so she fired back while stuttering. Hey, I don't see what's wrong with it," she huffed, slamming down her palms on the table. "Everyone else wants to take her head for the glory of it. I just want to be her significant other. You look like a creep when you do that." Jeongyeon scoffed, trying to push Sana's buttons more. "It's not like I wanted this. I was told that she burned all my gifts and letters, so I had no choice but to go the forceful route." The mage cried out, hitting her face repeatedly with the journal. "I don't care what I have to do, I'll never give up on Queen Su," she said with determination. "I won't let some adventurer kill her. I will save her and marry her." Sana was now standing up with her hand to her chest as if making a promise. "Silence. This is such a disappointment." Jeongyeon sighed, breaking the silence. Sana rose a brow at Jeongyeon's behavior. "To think that the Academy's top student is so Demon Queen obsessed." She quoted, "The faculty is even expecting you to be the next hero who'll save the world." "Jeongyeon, you are not telling anyone," Sana stated darkly, glaring into her friend's eyes. They had a staring contest. Sana was quite scary when triggered. "Don't be like that, you know I won't," she reassured. "If you do though." Sana paused and smirked evilly before taking out a purple sketchbook from her inventory that was labeled with the other one's full name, Yu Jeongyeon. "I won't hesitate to tell everyone your snakewoman X stockings fetish," she threatened while opening the notebook to a page with sketches of Miss Im wearing stockings on her tail. Jeongyeon didn't know how Sana got her notebook, so she just turned so red from embarrassment. "I already told you I won't," she defended, but Sana was serious. "Lamia's in stockings. Really, Jeonji?" After showing Jeongyeon her sins, the mage ran out of the classroom with the notebook still in hand. Jeongyeon was in a daze for a few moments, snapped out of it, then chased Sana with an angry expression. "Give that back already." "No way. I'm holding on to this." Sana glanced behind her with a smirk while her tongue was poking out between her lips. Sana's inventory, plus Jeongyeon's notebook. A notebook that the swordswoman accidentally left in the classroom, full of illustrations of Lamia stockings. She draws pretty well, but her fetish is quite questionable. The reward for defeating the Demon Queen. is 50 million gold, along with lifetime support from the kingdom, and the glory of being the world's savior. Considering that, it's no wonder why adventurers are all in a scramble to beat her. But due to powerful demons lurking in the tower, and the generals guarding all the floors, most adventurers die before they can even reach the Demon Queen. I suppose there's nothing to do again today. The Demon Queen thought blankly while leaning against the tower windows before she heard tiny footsteps entering the door. Sana, however, "Good morning, Queen Tsu. I came alone today." A loud and cheery voice greeted her. She glared at the annoying pest that was waving her hand at her as if they were friends. "Has already reached the top 13 times. I couldn't find any party members, but that's okay." The innocent-looking mage giggled while walking closer to the queen that had already crossed her arms, staring at Sana menacingly. "I know I won't stand a chance, but I'd rather be alone with you anyways." Sana blushed while fiddling with her fingers, a habit she has grown accustomed to whenever she was nervous. Tsuyu only scoffed at this statement, but somehow she felt flattered. Sana was coming too close to Tsuyu now. She was attempting to get some skinship with the queen. The demon noticed this, so she cast a barrier in between them, separating her from Sana. The mage is the clumsy one. She didn't see this immediately, so she ended up bumping her face on it. At least give me a hug, Queen Tsu," Sana whined while giving the demon her best Shiba eyes she could do, hoping that the tsundere demon would give in and let her hug her. Alas, it was to no avail. "Don't come near me," the queen said sternly, then turned away. "This girl, even though I've killed her so many times, she isn't even the slightest bit scared of me." Tsuyu gave her the side-eye stare, judging the girl. "I know you're strong enough to reach the top floor over and over again, but how do you keep doing it so quickly? Strength up, speed boost, mana conservation, flight magic, fatigue down." The smaller one was talking so fast that she didn't even process the actual meaning of the question. "Not that," Tsuyu cut her off. "I meant, were you really able to defeat my generals so easily?" Sana stiffened a bit at that, only making Tsuyu's curiosity peak up more. Oh, about that." Sana began telling her the truth on why she was so fast on getting here. Flashback. "Good morning, Mr. Demon General Jimin." Sana greeted the humanish orc that was twice her size. Jimin, the first demon general, the very first boss. Even though he looks small and humanish, he is actually half orc and half human and is really hard to beat for average adventurers. Aside from having been beaten by Sana so many times, he doesn't want to waste time and effort on a foregone conclusion. He's especially fond of her for complimenting him on his tannish skin than being prejudiced against him for it. His armament of choice is just his physical strength. That's how strong he is. Most adventurers question how do his clothes always stay so clean when he is the general that does most of the fighting. "Go ahead, you may pass." Jimin motioned for the stairs that were going up while smiling genuinely at Sana. She grinned and started walking up the steps. "Thank you very much." The mage was at awe at the gesture. "It's been like that with them, hee." Sana chuckled awkwardly after seeing the queen's face that was dark and emotionless. "Those fools haven't been doing their jobs." Tsuyu yelled, fire and rage in her eyes. "And no, it's nothing like that. Well, a while ago the 5th general," she trailed of telling what happened earlier. "Hey, Sana, I bet I can beat you this time." A woman floating in front of Sana laughed. "Jenny, 5th demon general." She has a great interest in dressing up in human fashions, getting Sana to buy her the latest trends so she can blend in with the kingdom whenever she wants to go out. Claws and tails with spiked tips to complement her unquestionably being evil. "We had a battle, and it was fun." Sana was trying to hold back a laugh that was trying to come out because of the queen's face. It was a mix of disbelief and shock. "They're all too friendly to her," Tsuyu yelled internally. "Demon General meeting. Listen here, I didn't assign you generals to your posts just to let anyone through." The queen slammed her cold hand on the surface of the desk. She called the demons to have a meeting right after she just killed Sana. 7th demon general. Tsuyu's right-hand demon. Nayan guards the floor just before the top of the tower, and the most enthusiastic in helping Sana woo her. She is an aspiring romance author on the side, though she rarely finds success in publishing due to the extremely kinky nature of much of her work. She is a Lamia, specifically the queen of her species. Nayan writes Yuri fanfics about Tsuyu and Sana all the time, titled Lilies in the Demon Tower. She is by far one of the kindest, most compassionate, and openly affectionate of the casts. She is also second to Sana herself for a reason, and you're best off not earning her ire lest you suffer a swift and painful death, if she doesn't you first, at least. Plus, she is a mom figure for the demons. Aside from defending the tower from intruders, she's mainly concerned with trying to get Sana and Tizuyu together. She has a spell that grants her a glowing third eye, enabling her to delve into people's minds to gather information and see if she's being lied to. Hyung, 6th Demon General. She has tiger-like features and fights using her claws in a very primal, animalistic combat style. Naeun saved her life when she was a child, which is why she's so devoted to her. Anyone attacking, threatening, or in Jeongyun's case, being highly inappropriate and perverted towards Naeun sets her into a violent, murderous rage. She's very shy and timid with other demons but absolutely ruthless and brutal towards humans. Her skill, Canine Sense, acts like this though it's for potential long-term problems than immediate danger. She herself admits it's not perfectly reliable, however. She has undying loyalty towards Naeun. She's all too willing to intercept, destroy, and interrogate anyone she feels is a threat to her beloved superior, though it isn't always with their permission. Is this about Sana? I just don't see the point of battling her when I've already lost to her a lot. Jihyo answered the queen's question. 1. Fool. It's still your job to stall and weaken those who wish to pass. The queen yelled back. I recorded all her stats. The queen trailed off because she had to turn on the projector. Even though she is still a student, her levels are already on par with licensed adventurers, but that still should not be enough to conquer all the floors. Well, she beat me. Jimin. Me too. Mina. Same. Hyunjin. I lost too. Jihyo. She's strong. Jenny. Now, Tizuyu was staring at a shivering tiger coldly. Hyung. The latter jolted up at the sudden call of her name. As she can beat me too. Hyung whimpered. That's suspicious. Shouldn't you have a high chance of winning against her? Despite the sweet smile on her face, they all could point out she wasn't happy. Hyung was basically shaking at this point. That's. Now, Queen Su, don't pick on her, someone said behind Kyung. The owner of the voice started patting Kyung's shoulder. If there's someone to blame, it's me. Ms. Naeun, cried Kyung internally. I told them to let Sana pass. She means no harm after all. She shrugged casually and enlightened me on why would you do that. The queen exclaimed. Because I think it's the best for you, Naeun said. The queen was in disbelief. How can a human be good for her? Back then you'd always grow weary from waiting for challengers to appear, the Lamia stated thoughtfully. But now, cute Lil Sana's here to play with you every day. I bet you're really happy. Naeun smirked at the blush that painted the queen's face. Tizuyu was now scowling so hard you'd think she ate a whole lemon. There's no way I'd be happy with a human constantly harassing me. Tizuyu's eyes grew wide and so did the blush with each word she spat out. Meanwhile the other generals. She's not denying the cute part. They all screamed internally and were all flustered at the queen's outburst and started cheering the new ship on. Have you all forgotten all the misery humans bring us? They kill our kind and hunt us for loot, drive us out of our homes. Tizuyu reminded them all. But Sana is different. The trio defended in unison. I've always been shunned by other orcs for being so human-looking. But Sana complimented me for it. Jimin proved his point by telling them about Sana's kindness. Well, Sana is cute, Jihyo said. Yes, Hyunjin agreed. 100% agree, said Jimin. Whatever. Mina rolled her eyes at the three. I don't particularly trust her, but if Ms. Naeun tells me to, then I. Kyung started but was cut off by Jenny. I don't have any problems with her. She doesn't even complain when I make her buy the latest fashion trends in human stores. She mused. Meanwhile, imbeciles. All of them. The queen yelled at the empty hallway. She left the room the moment the generals started talking about how cute Sana was. Even if I punish them, they're beyond redemption. She continued ranting, that girl. It's very strange how she won my generals over so easily. Aside from her scattered skill set, I didn't see anything unusual on her stats. The queen stopped walking. A passive skill set perhaps. Just like that woman. Tizuyu's memories. A young demon in little robes could be seen standing next to a cloaked black-haired woman who was sitting idly. The older one leaned closer to little Tizuyu and smirked. Sue, the woman called while reaching for the young one. The woman poked her button nose while laughing hysterically. They're both so irritating. Tizuyu yelled whilst pulling her hair angrily. Just before a new thought surfaced in her mind, come to think of it, she never told me why she likes me. Did she? I'm not interested in her. I'm only curious about her reasons why. Oh man, if you saw her you would immediately read her shallow mind because you could literally see her tail wagging about. Even though she could just lie. Her tail stopped wagging and just hung there sadly. Fine, let her come to me. I'll just keep on killing her anyway. The queen now continued to walk, her heels clicking on the stone floor. And the next time we meet, I'll force some answers out of her. Main capital of Fulstina, business district. A lot of villagers can be heard chattering all around the streets. Stalls and every kind of shop is displayed on the sides. Plus, here we are. Jeongyun stopped walking, causing the half-asleep mage to bump on her back. Oh wait, Sana groaned. The town guild. Fulstina Guild, that's what the sign says. Good afternoon, adventurers. The guard greeted them. They answered back with just a nod. Let's go, Jeongyun said, walking ahead of Sana, who was mesmerized with the kinds of quests that were stuck on the bulletin board. They walked to the main bulletin board where you can hire adventurers. It was obviously the main since it was in the very middle of the room. This works with our student IDs, right? Sana wondered, tapping the button that says enter license number. Yeah, just input your ID number here, then select the adventurers you want to hire. They'll be notified and will approach you in the waiting area. Jeongyun explained. I see, but there are only 2 available. I guess it gets busy in the afternoon. She didn't get to finish when a guy who looks older than them shoved them away from the adventurer board. Excuse me, he said coldly and started tapping some things on the board. After a few moments, he walked away without another word. Sana stared at the man's back with a glare before looking back at the board. Her eyes widened in realization. Why? Sana was shocked to see that the last 2 available ones were hired by that foul man. Jeongyun could practically see a dark, angry aura surrounding Sana right now. Before Sana could turn to them, Jeongyun grabbed her wrist and pulled her closer, trying to stop her from killing that man. He's a licensed adventurer. We shouldn't get tangled up with. She stopped talking when she saw Sana's I don't give a fuck face. The mage got out of Jeongyun's grip and yelled at the man. Hey mister, you can't do that, we were here first. Sana screamed while Jeongyun was already ready to die from embarrassment. The man turned to them and so did the hired adventurers. You kids are still here. Stop messing around and go play outside. He scoffed with menace while narrowing his eyes at them. Pardon me, but for the record, we are students, adventurers in training. And we do have business here. Sana yelled, still angry. Students, they murmured. So it's true, the rumors about rich brats hiring licensed adventurers for easy leveling. They'll have us climb the higher floors, make us do the work while they stand by and suck on their thumbs. The red-haired archer stated. Well, aren't they lucky to have wealthy parents? Now it was the bald adventurer who was holding an axe's turn to comment. Sometimes they even hire us to do their homework, something as easy as herb gathering. Scoffed the archer. He smirked when she saw how agitated Sana's face looked. We're not here for that. We're going to defeat the demon queen. Sana yelled determinedly. Now it was the adventurers' turn to shut their traps. Someone sliced to silence the demon queen. He asked in disbelief. Yes, the mage confirmed. At that single word, the 3 jerks were laughing so much there were tears in their eyes already. Silly twerps. Mere students won't be able to do any damage on her, the archer said, still laughing horribly. I'd be surprised if you even reach her floor. They continued. I mean, just look at the girl she's with. Is that equipment or junk? The tall adventurer pointed an accusing finger at Jeongyun while holding his stomach from too much laughing. Jeongyun was looking at them with a blank expression, but inside Sana knew that she was upset. Because of this, Sana decided to use the savage lines she learned from her queen. Mister, it's such a shame that the only stat you know how to level up is your stupidity, Sana said coldly. What did you just say, you twerp? How dare you talk back to me? He stopped laughing and was now glaring at the girl. Sana only smiled sweetly and flipped him off. The man was really getting pissed now, so he dashed to Sana at full speed, charging his fist. His knuckles got enveloped in dark blue fire, and tried to punch her. Keyword, tried. He felt something hard press on his fist, something close to a wall. The smoke dissolved and you can clearly see that Sana nonchalantly cast a barrier to stop the man's fist from reaching her beautiful face. A flaming punch. So you're a fighter, mister? Sana asked blankly. Meanwhile, the man's face contorted in horror. I see. But it's only at level 3, she yawned. I have a skill too. Sana paused. She opened her palm and a few sparks ticked until it formed into an actual fireball. And it's at level 10. The mage finished with an enormous smirk. Explode. She then pointed her palm at the man. Level 10. Are you freaking Sirio? He wasn't able to finish his sentence when large flames evoked him, critically burning his body. A loud explosion erupted around the room, the sound hitting each wall making it shake. The archer, the bald guy, Jeongyun. The guard, no fighting inside please. 1. No one makes fun of my best friend, she said proudly. Except me, of course. The man was laying on the ground motionless with smoke coming out of him, while his clothes are half burnt. You could barely even recognize him because his face was covered in black ash. He was unconscious, might even be dead. Oh my, looks like the guy who hired you both can't take you now. The mage feigned shock while covering her mouth with her hand, trying to hide the enormous smirk growing. Would you consider going with me now? She asked with a sweet tone. It was as if she didn't beat the crap out of the man seconds ago with just a single spell. Do you guys have mouths or what? If you heard the menace in Sana's tone now and the sweet tone she had earlier, you would assume she's bipolar. The two freaked out since they didn't want their butts to be kicked right now. Why, yes ma'am, they both said in unison, saluting because their life depended on it. Meanwhile at the demon tower, where is that brat? Tizuyu asked herself, her patience already running out. If she even had any in the first place. Right outside the demon tower. Alright, we finally made it to the demon tower, Sana cheered, turning her head, glancing at the adventurers behind her. Move along, gentlemen. We'll show the demon queen who's boss. At that sentence, groaning could be heard from the two hired adventurers. Something's not right, but I can't seem to put my finger on it. Jeongyun thought anxiously. First off, need to recover mana, Sana murmured. Taking something out of her inventory, she popped off the cork of a purple mana restoration elixir. Yeah, that was when it hit Jeongyun like cold water was splashed on her. She turned to the girl who was also giving some elixirs to the men. Just as she was about to drink the potion, she yelled to the mage. "SM, I know Jeong." Sana stopped when the bottle was just resting on her lower lip. "We don't have a healer, we're doomed." Sana chugged the bottle while shaking torridly. "I admit, it might have slipped my mind after that scene I made at the guild," she whispered, coughing at the horrible taste of the potion. "Save your excuses, you asshat. We'll definitely get slaughtered at this rate. Turn back." Jeongyun yelled while gripping at the collar of her forgetful friend. "No, it's too late for that now, we have to keep going." Sana finalized, staring at Jeongyun with worry look. "I'll act as both damage and heal support. I have the basic heal spell, it's not that good, but it will have to do. I'll even throw out all the healing potions in my inventory." She gestured to her inventory that was projected in front of Jeongyun's eyes. The latter was just staring at her with anger evident in her expression. "If we go back to the guild, that would mark the quest as cancelled and I'll have to hire another group of adventurers. I can't afford that, so we have no choice but to see this through," Sana continued. Jeongyun sighed. No matter what she says, Sana would still do it. She's being reckless again. And besides, the mage trailed off. "I have a feeling that Queen Tizuyu's been waiting for me," she muttered with a blush. Gay +1. Meanwhile, at the top of the demon tower, "I don't know why ... but a feeling of immense irritation has overcome me. Is someone talking about me? What the fuck?" Tizuyu thought, staring at the pukas that were cleaning her throne room. Back at the entrance of the tower. "I'll go in first, you three. Stay here and wait for me," the mage ordered sternly. "What for?" the bald adventurer asked. "I'll ... scout the area. Yes, check if it's safe, because sometimes some really high-level monsters just jump out of nowhere on the lower floors." Sana squeaked nervously. "That only happens on rare occasions though, but if that happens I'm pretty sure we can take them on," said the archer. He posed like a hero. "Remember, you're talking to licensed adventurers, kid." The bald guy scoffed. "Incidentally ... you have enough gold for the church's resurrection service, right?" Sana asked. "Well, of course, that's basic for any adventurer," boasted the bald one again. "Good. Now, wait here." Sana dashed through the door, slamming it behind her, not listening to Guy's protests. "Hello, Sana," greeted a demon slime. "One. Oh, hi." She ran past it. She could hear a sword hitting something by the corridor she just passed, so she glanced at it and saw a swordsman like Jeongyun fighting a giant. "Cactus, you're a tough one, aren't ya?" yelled the said swordsman at the cactus that doesn't even have any scratches on it. She just shrugged it off and went up the stairs. As she did, a demon bat also greeted her. "Good luck today, Miss Sana." She smiled warmly at it, showing her pearly white teeth, causing the bat to faint. "The 15th floor finally," Sana said, panting while opening the door with an unsuspecting creak. She slowly entered the chamber of the first general. "Hey, Mr. Jimmy," Sana started but was shocked. "Demonic elbow," Jimin yelled while smashing an adventurer's backbone with his sharp elbow like a boss. Sana heard a bloody loud crack and a loud scream from the guy. She almost felt sorry for him, almost. After a few moments of staring at the newly formed coffin, Sana decided to break the silence with a fake cough. That caused Jimin to finally notice her. He smiled at her as if he wasn't acting like John Cena 10 seconds earlier. "Hello, Mr. Jimin," she returned the smile. "Aw, hey there, Sana. Nothing to see here, just go on and pass through," he said curtly. I actually want to talk to Ms. Im," she said shyly. "Alright, follow me," he replied while walking over the coffins that were laying around. When he sensed she wasn't following, he glanced back. "Sana," Jimin called. Seeing the girl who was in a daze, seeing all the coffins on the floor, he giggled. Sana flinched at the sudden call of her name. "Why yes, I'm coming." Whoa, it's amazing how many fightings he was able to do, she thought, feeling amazed at the first general. "Why do you want to talk with Nayan? Don't you just normally zip straight to the queen?" Jimin asked her, walking to the communication room that connects the demon's alert system when there's a very important emergency. Well, you see, she was growing nervous and Jimin could tell. I have a plan on how to defeat Queen Su, and for that, I need Ms. Im's assistance. Demon Tower, Nayeon's chamber. Nayeon was reading silently, but the ringing of a crystal beside her sleeping quarters could be heard echoing inside the Lamia's room. Yes, demons use crystals as phones. Oh my, that's... She picked up the crystal while rolling her eyes, annoyed. Nayeon pressed the answer button. It projected a hollow screen like a TV. She had her camera off. Yes, Jimin. This better be important. She exasperated. Jimin's chamber. Miss Nayeon, Mallory is here to speak with you, a young man said while staring at the gray screen the crystal is projecting. Mallory. Oh shit, Mallory. They could hear something falling and a lot of rustling noises from the screen. A few moments later, they could finally see a disheveled and panting Nayeon with a book on her head. Mallory, is something the matter? Nayeon huffed, taking a deep breath and trying to regain her normal breathing. Hello. You see, I brought some adventurers with me. She trailed off, knowing Nayeon would immediately understand. Party members. That's right. Then we'll go with the usual. The generals and I will go all out on them. If anyone survives, they're free to accompany you to the throne room. The Lamia said monotonously. But no one ever survives. Mallory muttered. True. Nayeon laughed at the fact. That's what I wanted to talk to you about, could you? Mallory paused nervously again. Let them pass like how you guys do with me. Nayeon was left dumbfounded at this unexpected question but still kept her cool and answered the girl. Mallory, you're the only human to whom we've given a free pass to see our queen. Just what would your kind think once they've learned you get this kind of special treatment? She stated, narrowing her eyes at the girl. They'll grow suspicious, fear you for having an unusual bond with demons. Nayeon paused, looking for a reaction from Mallory. Worst case scenario, you'll be marked as a traitor, she warned darkly. I am well aware of that. Mallory pursed her lips to a thin line, but that's what I wanted to ask. Nayeon waited for the girl to finish her sentence. Could you please take it easy on us? How unusual for you to ask. May I ask why? The Lamia questioned the mage. They're mercenaries and it cost me a bundle to hire them. Mercenaries? You mean licensed adventurers? Nayeon's eyes widened in horror. Yes ma'am. Mallory was getting desperate at this point. That's an even bigger problem. Our queen could actually get hurt against such strong opponents. This immediately triggered the Lamia's motherly instincts. Do they even know that you like the demon queen? Nayeon shook her head. In any case, I will not allow it. It's too dangerous. Plus, experience and rewards are shared among the party members, aren't they? Just how did you get them to agree on sharing the queen's hand in marriage? Now she was back to being a mom again, but Mallory has a plan of her own. We never agreed to anything. How can a stuttering fool moments ago turn to this? Mallory looked down, sighing. Nayeon didn't know what she meant by that. They're here thinking we're going to execute the queen, but... The girl looked up at Nayeon, darkness evident in her eyes. Nayeon looked hypnotized. I only need them to weaken her. I'll hold back on the support so they'll die before they can even give the finishing blow. And if it's ever needed. Jimin has never seen Mallory like this. She had always been the shy and sometimes perverted mage they felt comfortable with. I'll be the one to kill them, Mallory stated menacingly. Killing intent could be seen swimming inside her chocolate brown eyes. The two generals were speechless and a little scared at how serious Mallory was with this plan. I see. Nayeon nervously mumbled while clearing her throat. Mallory still didn't say anything and stared at the Lamia blankly. All right, I won't argue anymore. I'll trust your words on this, Mallory. Thank you, Miss Im. Mallory replied happily. The duality of this kid, Jimin thought anxiously with his pupils shaking with fear. Nayeon continued, but if anything happens to Queen Velverosa, I will have your head on my wall. I'll protect her, I swear. Mallory huffed with a pout before turning around. I'll get back to my teammates now. Mallory waved while running backward. Fine, I'll make sure everything is ready. When Mallory was holding the door open, she turned to them again. By the way, could you tell the lower demons to either flee or fight when they see me? I've noticed that they've somewhat gotten attached to me too. Thanks, see ya. She didn't wait for their answers and slammed the door shut. So, she befriended even the lower demons around the tower. There should be no problem, right, Miss Im? Jimin asked, still trapped in a fearful daze. It should be fine. Indeed, it's an unusual talent. The Lamia answered with her chin on her palm. But unlike other humans, she harbors no ill will towards us demons, not even a hint of malice in her intentions. Her personal goals. Nayeon's shoulders slumped down, staring at the door where the girl just exited from. is just innocently dangerous, that's all. As innocent as it is, I think that's the most frightening thing about her. Dayan continued, shuddering as if a cold breeze went past her, which is impossible because she has no windows inside her chamber. But oh well, I'm quite eager to see how things would develop. She smirked devilishly. A love story between a dragon and a bunny. This could be my next big hit. Dayan squealed like a madwoman as she took at a book that was labeled Lilies in the Demon Tower Vol. 1. So you've been using them as material for your fetish. Jimin stared at her as if she was crazy. Well, she is a tiny bit. It's a side occupation, darling. A side occupation. In Naeun's fanfic, a shorto where Velverosa is the adventurer and Mallory is the demon queen. D. 2. Prepare yourself, demon queen, to proclaim me as the strongest adventurer in the world. I've come to slay you. She grasped her sword as she yelled at the shorter demon in front of her. Mallory was in a daze, staring at the slender woman in her presence. Oh, how much she wants to be the sword right now. She was imagining the adventurer chalking her with those luscious fingers of hers while they— Okay, that's enough. Are you lost, baby girl? The demon asked with a seductive tone when she shook away all the unholy thoughts. Velverosa doesn't want to admit it, but her knees weakened a bit at that. She also didn't notice Mallory teleporting a few inches away from her. So, you've come to kill me for that? How selfish. Mallory smirked and was now caressing the tall adventurer's cheek with her hand before she herself unsheathed Velverosa's sword and pointed the sharp blade at her neck. If that's the case, then, by all means, I wouldn't mind dying to the hands of a beautiful woman such as yourself. Mallory winked at her, but Velverosa was now not affected by the demon's advances towards her, unlike earlier. On second thought, I'm leaving, Velverosa said, turning away from the dumbfounded demon. But why? No, please wait, Mallory pleaded, but it only fell on deaf Yoda ears. Mallory would end up breaking into Velverosa's home. Why is she bothering me so early in the morning? Velverosa thought grumpily while trying to steady a plate of bread with an egg on top with orange juice on the side, with Mallory clutching onto her arm. Is that all you have, darling? Want me to hunt for you? Mallory asked cutely when she saw how less Velverosa eats. But the perverted demon couldn't refrain herself from peeking at the loose part on Velverosa's robe. And Velverosa's chastity would be at risk. Unhand me, you disgusting fiend. Velverosa blushed when she saw Mallory forcing her robe open. Such a cutie. Mallory laughed at the struggling adventurer under her. She only trying hard to get, and Mallory was enjoying every second of it. When Velverosa finally stopped struggling because she was tired and just let Mallory get what she wants, the demon softly turned the taller one's face towards her and kissed her passionately. Okay, cut. That's enough because Naeun hasn't finished writing yet. Smirk. Demon Tower, 15th floor. You runts dare to challenge the great Jimin. The demon general exaggerated. That's right. Prepare yourself, demon. The arch yelled while knocking an arrow onto his bow. Here I come. Mallory pulled out her book of spells and cast her weakest one so she wouldn't hurt Jimin that much. Light paper-thin crystals emerged from the book and surged to Jimin as he blocked his body with his strong forearms. The bald adventurer slashed him with his axe brutally while the archer shot his arrows with accuracy, but none of these actually hurt Jimin critically, but following Miss Naeun's orders he dropped to the ground with a loud thud while screaming in pain. Arg, that hurts, oh the pain. The demon screamed with his face planted on the floor. Huh? I surrender, hoo-hoo. Jimin cried out. Meanwhile, Mallory was having second-hand embarrassment. What the heck? Too funny, I don't remember the first general being this weak. The bald adventurer wondered out loud. Og, it was the cook. The cook botched our meal. It was so horrible that all our stats drastically went down. The entire demon tower has been sabotaged. The orc accused horribly while glancing at Mallory as if sending the message. I deserve an award for this. That's the excuse Ms. M came up with. Can something cooked badly really affect someone this much? The archer asked again, but was now staring at Mallory for answers. I guess I mean, look at him. Mallory shrugged awkwardly. What great luck we can actually get to the demon queen without much effort. A bead of sweat formed on the mage's head. No, missy, the bald one interjected. We can't let the generals get away like they usually do when we beat them, now that we have a chance to put them down. The guy said again while getting into a fighting stance with his axe ready to slice. You're not running away this time, demon. Rest in peace. The archer's face darkened as he was getting his arrows ready for the second time. This is bad. Mallory screamed mentally as she saw that Jimin also realized that he was about to be dead orc meat soon. I said. Mallory tightly grasped on their clothes from behind. We're going, she said darkly as a sizzling sound could be heard. Are you burning our clothes? Hey, stop. Jeongyun was silent the whole time, already knowing what Mallory's plan was. And so with Mallory's persuasion of her teammates and the general's acting, the party quickly ascended upwards the demon tower. 89th floor. Luck's on our side, and yet we didn't get to kill any demons. The bald guy scoffed. Sorry, I don't want to waste too much time because the demon queen is our top priority. Mallory replied with a serious tone. Regardless of luck, I think our lady boss still could have blown the generals off easily. The archer, who was more laid back, said nonchalantly. I'm not that strong. The latter replied without even glancing at them. Yes you are, it's downright abnormal. You're still a student, so how did you get to such a high level? The archer pushed for answers. Haha, it's not a story I enjoy telling that much, and even if I did, you wouldn't believe me anyway. She sighed. Tell us your secret. Come on, come on, come on. He yelled childishly. Ugh, fine. Mallory rolled her eyes at the persistent boy. When I was a kid, a high-level demon kidnapped me. They were shocked except Jeongyun because Mallory already told her that years ago. I was on my way home from school when he abducted me. Let me guess. He wanted to eat you, but you latched out and managed to defeat him. Mallory shook her head at that, which made them raise their brows. No, not even close. He was a masochist who forced me to attack him with my explode spell over and over again. Mallory cringed at the cursed memory. What? He had a demon friend by his side to use revive gems on him. And he had a supply of restoration elixirs in case I run out of mana. Revive gems. But demons can't use human items. Supposedly they shouldn't have any effect on them. The archer was getting disturbed at this point. That's what I thought too. I think he was an anomaly, a demon that could revive, because the gems definitely worked on him. She crossed her arms. Explode. He dies. Revive. Drink the potions. That cycle went on for 2 weeks. The air was getting gloomy and dark now. Astounding, you were right. The archer said. I don't believe any of it. That suits me just fine. I don't care either way. She turned around again and began walking. That's just too much of a tall tale. Besides, why explode of all things? It was the strongest spell I had at that time. I learned it from my mentor. It's actually true when adventurers came to rescue her. Several stolen revive gems and empty elixir bottles were found while Mallory had considerably leveled up. Jeongyun. Mallory, age 7, level 32, explode skill, level 4. Stop messing around and just tell us how you got so strong. The archer huffed while stomping his foot. 2. Fine, archer boy, you want something more believable. Even if I get into such a high level at an early age, it wouldn't matter if I slacked off in training. I persevered. My resolve did not make me falter. That force that motivates me, the real secret to my strength, is love, she said smugly while doing a heart pose. 4. She's making a fool of us again. Let's just go to the next general. The archer said, not believing as he went past her. TCH, making us listen to all that mumbo-jumbo, rude. I bet she was aiming to become the world's best, that's why she won't share her secret. Selfish. But it's the truth, Jeongyun thought, reminiscing everything Mallory has done for love. It's the trut. She didn't finish when Mallory elbowed her on the ribs. He shut it. Jeonji. Mallory turned her head slowly to the cleric, who was in pain with deadly eyes. In Nayan's fanfic 2. Ms. Tsu, I don't understand this part. Could you please explain this to me? Mallory smirked, then posed like a French girl on top of Velverosa's desk. Ms. Minodazaki, I'm your dean. For God's sake, if there's anything you don't understand, ask your teacher. The dean asked Mallory tiredly. And get off my desk, please. A huff was heard after what Velverosa ordered. Mallory got off the desk that crossed her arms like a child that got scolded. As the top student who brings the school honor and glory, haven't I earned any special privileges? No, you haven't. She deadpanned while the latter pouted adorably. She walked around the dean's desk, and when she was already standing behind her chair, she kept inching forward, while Velverosa paid her no mind. And I just love Mallory pouting. Don't judge. I'll be competing in the National Quiz Bee finals, you know. Can't I have some sort of incentive here? She stopped inching forward, then she hugged Velverosa by the neck softly, smooshing her cheek with the latter's before continuing seductively. Like a kiss, perhaps. Velverosa was giving her the side eye before she hit Mallory's face with some of her paperwork. If you don't stop this behavior at once, I'll be forced to call your parents. What parents? Mallory asked darkly. Velverosa literally forgot that the girl was an orphan and felt bad. How insensitive of you, headmistress. Mallory had this emotionless look on her face that the latter couldn't even comprehend. So, to cheer her up, Velverosa gave Mallory a lucky charm instead, and Mallory bulldozed her way through the competition. My lovely headmistress gave me this, she said proudly at the audience while holding up a Yoda figurine. Isn't that just your paperweight? Dayan asked while pointing at the boastful girl on stage trying to hold in her laugh. Yes, she's a cute little idiot, isn't she? The headmistress said, staring. Mallory was also gonna confess after their graduation. I'm no longer your student, will you go out with me now? Mallory yelled desperately at the woman before her. Velverosa sighed and went closer to the girl. She pulled Mallory by the necktie, and her being taller, she just kissed the girl casually on the forehead. She pulled away and walked away and waved. See me when you're on your college break. Then she went down the stairs silently. It took Mallory a few moments to actually realize what just happened. You could see a red kiss mark on her forehead done by the dean. Was that a yes? She screamed to no one in particular. It was a yes. She celebrated. Ms. Nayan really likes those two, huh? Kyung asked internally when the Lamia forced her to read a page of her fanfic. How is it, Kyungji dear? Nayan asked from behind her. I like it. Anything you make turns out so well, Ms. Nayan. The cub praised her. That's great. Here are a few more I'd like you to read. She gestured to a large pile of papers on her desk, while Kyung just lost her soul at this point. Demon Tower, 90th floor. Ouch, you beat me. I am in no condition to fight. Kyung said sarcastically while laying on all fours. Please just spare my life and pass through. She gestured to the other set of stairs heading to the remaining floors that have yet to be conquered. Let's go everyone. She gave Kyung a stare that indicates she was half-heartedly thanking her. Since Jeongyeon was in the back, she was the last one to pass the defeated Kyung. Thump. Kyung felt her senses being on high alert as the cleric passed her. Wait a minute. It was the bald guy. I don't know what's with our contractor, but she seems to be against killing demons in this tower. His eyes were dark, menacingly staring at the little tiger. Whatever her reasons are, we adventurers still need to make some money. We have mouths to feed, you understand, don't you? Empty your pockets, he ordered seriously. Looting. Give me your weapons, equipment, and any other items. He raised his axe to let the tiger know he was being serious. This is not even looting, it's a holdup. Kyung's eyes grew wide because she knew she had no choice but to surrender because she would think she failed Ms. Nayan. Looting, holdup. Don't even try to argue. You're in no condition to fight, remember. Ugh. Kyung whimpered, obviously not liking this. Mallory tried to interject. Don't get in my way, Missy, he stated angrily. He'd get more suspicious if I try to stop him, wouldn't he? I'm sorry, Kyung, I owe you one. After he got all of Kyung's precious items, he slumped his bag on his shoulder and walked to the stairs. Great, now let's be on our merry way again. Mallory honestly felt bad for Kyung. She'll just have to find a way to pay her back when she comes back again. The sad tiger just sat there sobbing on her knees, very humiliated. -10 dignity, -20 XP, +15 disgust towards humanity. Humans are so horrible, she huffed. I'm so relieved. I can't believe we actually got past her. Jeongyun sighed abruptly while walking up the stairs. Oh right, you keep dying on that floor. The mage laughed. Whenever we fight, it feels like that wolf girl is always out to get me. Mallory scoffed internally before being serious again because they were now in front of Ms. Malathia's door. We actually made it, the last general. Oh hun, this is just the calm before the actual storm. 105th floor. I heard that the chatty archer was cut off when a gloomy Mallory called Jeongyeon. Jeongyeon, just be in your best behavior, okay? Mallory requested desperately, while Jeongyeon just raised a brow. I wonder how Jeongyeon would react when she meets Ms. M. Mallory's eyes went wide open as realization hit her. I was so focused on Queen Belle that I forgot my best friend likes lamias. But even if I did remember, it's not like I would have used Ms. M to feed her fetish. She's been too kind to me. She took a deep breath and opened the rusty door. I still don't know how she got that particular fetish or how she behaves around lamias. I just hope she won't do anything weird. She cried as she imagined Jeongyeon bowing aggressively and praising Miss Im inappropriately. She opened the door wide open so they can enter all at once. It was pretty dark by only how the torches light up the chamber, but you could see a silhouette curled up in the middle of the dark and dusty room. I commend you for making it this far, adventurers. A sweet voice greeted us. Greetings. I am Imnayan, head of the Lamias in the Far East continent, and the strongest general the Demon Queen has ever hired. As if Ms. Malathia's sweet voice lit up the whole room, more torches appeared all around the walls, so it wasn't that dark anymore. You could now clearly see a snake-like woman sitting in the middle of the room with her staff on her side. Mallory glanced at the girl on her side and she saw tears. She has a blank face but is crying. She's calm, but why is she crying? The mage stared at her crying friend incredulously. When Jeongyeon was a wee lass, she accompanied her father on a business trip to the east continent of the main kingdom. Coincidentally, it was a place where snake women thrived, and little Jeongyeon had a perilous encounter with them. She and her father managed to get home safely. However, father, I never knew that being wrapped in a lamia's tail could feel so good, she said to her father dreamily. That incident became the start of her odd fascination towards lamia. Even though Jeongyeon has been longing to see another Lamia, there were unfortunately none in the main kingdom where she lives. She didn't find any in the demon tower either. Whenever she would ask Mallory, the girl would just blow her off because she was too focused on a certain demon. Unbeknownst to her, the queen of the Lamias resides on the 105th floor of the demon tower. She couldn't contain her happiness when she finally met her. Is that the friend Mallory was talking about? Why is he crying? A bead of sweat formed on Miss Malathia's head. Are we even going to fight, or will you let us go like the rest of the generals? The bald guy asked broadly. Fighting is indeed what we should be doing right now, but honestly I don't feel up for it. Shrugged the Lamia. What's wrong? Did the bad food get to you too? You generals are doing an awful job today. Shouldn't you be thankful that none of you had to break a sweat? It may look like we're feeding our queen to the wolves, but I believe in her strength. Mallory could tell by the way Ms. Im said that was because she was trying to be passive and not kill these assholes on the spot. Not that it matters, she'll blow your sorry asses out of the tower soon. Go before I changed my mind. Naeun warned before turning away. Hey, wait a minute. The guy stopped her by putting his hand on the snake's shoulder. We're not going anywhere until we get our loot. What? You plan on looting me? I'm barely even wearing anything, and you think I have any loot? Liar, you have a staff right there. All of you split up and search the area. There could be valuables here somewhere. At this order, Jeongyeon took notice of a door with artistic carvings on it. Ella, check the room over there. Fine. She walked to the door and slowly slid it open. Naeun's sleeping quarters. Jackpot. She dashed and started to rummage through the Lamia's bed first. Let's see. Books, books, more books. She started to toss what she found useless around, not even minding her OCD and just focusing on the task at hand. I'll clean it later. Oh, what's this? She found something. So, she writes novels. This seems oddly familiar. It was Naeun's fanfic, Lilies in the Demon Tower. TCH, this is not what I'm looking for. Under the sheets maybe. It should be. There. Back to Mallory and the others. I only found some mushrooms, the sulky archer said with his lips jutting forward. Where's Jeongyeon? She didn't mind the archer's disappointment. Hey, I found some high-grade elixirs and a few pieces of jewelry. Speak of the demon. Uo, nice one, kid. The bald guy praised with greed in his eyes while the archer was still sulky in the background because some girl outwitted him. Now, we can get going, he said again while licking his lips because of the amazing things they found on one trip. Go on ahead, you two. There's a campsite on the next floor. I have something to discuss with this friend of mine. We'll just meet you there, Mallory suggested while cocking a brow at the cleric who's rubbing her neck awkwardly because she knew she was gonna get an earful. All right, see you later. Man, I'm so tired. My legs need a break. The archer whimpered. What is it now, Mallory? I was just honestly surprised you didn't go gaga over Ms. Im. You were so mesmerized it put you to tears. The mage laughed. Excuse me. Jeongyeon's head frantically turned to her. Mallory, she swore she heard a snap. Even if it's true that she's beautiful and is my type. But that doesn't mean I have to act like a drooling idiot in front of her. I did right, but that's all. She whispered the last part, but Mallory still caught it. I was worried you'll ask her to wear stockings. Isn't it shameful to ask that on our first meeting? So you plan to do it in the future. Listen here. It's true that I have an unusual fetish, but women should still be treated with respect. If what you like is not accepted as the norm, then fantasize about it with the 2D version of it and leave the ones in the real world out of it. Jeongyeon was in the zone of acting like a spokesperson even if what she is saying didn't even make any sense. 2D world. Real world. What the hell? You all forget it. Jeonji, show me your inventory. It was like Satan himself was saying it because of how dark Mallory's tone was. What do you want to see that for? Hihi. Jeongyeon was sweating so hard right now I can't even. I said show me, damn it. Mallory pounced on Jeongyeon like an angry squirrel and opened her inventory recklessly. One of the things inside Jeongyeon's inventory that caught Mallory's attention was Naeun's shedded snake skin. I can't believe you. Oh my god, Jifo, put this back, you asshole. Mallory yelled angrily with an enormous blush painting her face. There's no way I can do that, I'll get caught. Jeongyeon yelled back, her face is also as red as Mallory's. You perverted sicko. This is like stealing underwear. Snake skin is not underwear. You're the one likely to steal underwear here, especially the demon queens. I would never do something like that. She got you good there, Sana. They're being loud. What are they talking about? The archer asked while laying next to the campfire they just relit. Beats me, shrugged the bald one. They decided to keep the shedded skin since there's nothing they could do now. Naeun, however, has no clue on what has gone missing, and was just happy because all her books were still there. 106th floor. Campsite. Here's the plan. My party members' Aka schoolmates always die fighting the generals, so I'm all alone when I arrive at the throne room. I'm indeed a strong mage, but my physical strength isn't very good, so the Demon Queen always beats me up before I can cast any spells. Mr. Axe will be our main offense, Mr. Archer will attack from the sides, and Jeongyeon will protect me from any possible attacks. I'll quickly cast a spell that enhances our ATK and DEF at the start of the battle. I'll be an offense and support mage in this fight, but I'll also be the healer, so don't let me die. After she finished telling the plan, she doused the bonfire with a water bottle. Come, time to meet the Demon Queen. She chuckled darkly with an unnerving smirk that sent shivers down her party member's spine. Mallory was the last one in the line with Jeongyeon in front of her. The cleric was hopping up the stairs happily like she just won the lottery. She's in a chipper mood. Hey, Jeonji. Jeongyeon hummed in reply before stopping so Mallory's small legs can catch up. Can you open up your inventory? Again? What for? Just do it, will you? Jeongyeon rolled her eyes and unwillingly opened her inventory. Jeongyeon's inventory. Blue elixir times 10 fish times 3 lamia skin times 1. Green elixir times 6 herbs times 8. Red elixir times 15 ogre nail times 8. Mallory's disgusted gaze was fixated on the lamia skin that stood out like a sore thumb before she decided to pull it out of the pervert's inventory. Hey, what are you doing? Seriously, what are you? Why are you holding it like that? I'm so insulted. Jeongyeon's irritation was directed at the way Mallory was holding it with her thumb and pointer finger while trembling disgustedly. I know this item is important to you, so you should put it in the safe slot to avoid losing it. Mallory then put Jeongyeon's precious item in a red slot in her inventory. Safe slot? Jeongyeon asked cluelessly. See that red box? That's your safe slot. Sometimes when we die we lose random items in our inventory. The item placed in the safe slot is taken out of that risk. Oh, how convenient. I could use more of them. I thought it was just as randomly colored box. You can increase your safe and basic inventory by doing specific training quests, of course. However, safe slots take more time in releasing the stored items and they cost more mana, so it's not advisable to use them when in battle. Mallory explained almost robotically. Huh, you're quite knowledgeable about this, but are you seriously giving me a tutorial now? Did you forget that my father was a merchant? And merchants are experts in inventory space magic. Mallory said boastfully. Right, he ran a bakery. Is that all? Shouldn't we get going? Jeongyeon continued worriedly. Yeah, we should. Mallory started walking ahead, leaving Jeongyeon with her thoughts. She's being awfully nice. I'm used to her dragging me around with little to no consideration to train in the mountains ever since we were kids. So her being considerate right now feels a bit off, she thought before Mallory spoke again. Oh, and Jeonji. Huh? Thanks, she whispered shyly. Being shocked was an understatement. Yay. What for? Jeongyeon shivered at the new version of Mallory. Well, you've always been accompanying me and I just wanted to show my appreciation before the final battle. Mallory said wholeheartedly. Final? You sound confident that we'll win. Jeongyeon's brow rose up. There's a possibility. Mallory crossed her arms. Forget all the doubts I had just now, after everything I had to put up with. Mallory does care about me. Happy tears were dripping down her cheeks. Her heart was swelling with joy at the new thought. While Mallory wasn't happy at all. Jeonji. Her hand clenched her chest tightly. Her heart was beating rapidly while her stomach was churning in an unnerving manner. Cold beads of sweat were appearing on her forehead. Thanks. A tear dropped from her eye while she turned away and smiled bitterly. Demon Tower. Research Office. Well, would you look at that? Jihyo mused when she was looking some files of the adventurer log before hearing the door open. You called for me, Dr. Jihyo? The demon's assistant named Ryujin asked politely. Ah yes, come here. Darling, when the assistant got closer she plopped down the heavy files on her hand onto Ryujin's muscular arms. I want you to hand these reports to the queen. I'd give them myself, but I still have some work to do here, she ordered. But it's not the deadline for reports yet, is it that urgent? Ryujin asked softly. Why yes, it has info that our queen will find very interesting. Something about her girlfriend. Jihyo smirked while rubbing her chin. The assistant's eyes were wide as saucers. Her girlfriend. You mean the mage who constantly visits the tower? Queen Velverosa finally accepted her. Or are we talking about a secret lover? Ryujin was firing undying questions at the older scientist. And no, not a secret lover, I'm talking about Mallory. Well, technically she isn't her girlfriend, but we generals refer to her as that to tease the queen. Oh, how fun it is to see her get as red as a berry. Jihyo laughed at the end of her statement. Oh, that was the only thing Ryujin could say because of the embarrassment. Alright, enough of that. Go now and use the teleporter to get there faster. She pointed to the circular pad that has demonic symbols in the corner of the room. Hi, on my way. The younger stepped on it and off she goes. Demon Queen's floor. Aren't the generals being too mean to the queen? Anyone would get embarrassed if they were teased of liking someone. But the generals act as if it was a hint of the queen being in love. Though they might be right, they know her better than I do. I'm just a research assistant, so I'm pretty much just a bystander in all this. Still, I don't think the queen has any interest towards the mage at all. Those thoughts immediately flooded Ryujin's mind the moment she stepped down from the teleporter, and is now walking to the queen's chamber. "Hey you!" screamed a tiny voice behind Ryujin, making her stop and turn around. Yeah, you. Where do you think you're going?" It was just a demon bat flapping around. "I am just gonna give these research reports to the queen," she explained to the angry bat. "Don't do it right now, you fool. The queen is in a really bad mood," the bat said while peeking in a corner. You could tell how a dark aura was surrounding the room, and it was obviously coming from the queen. She likes to drink, but you can tell that she's really upset if she's already on her 5th glass. Now that was her 6th. They were both cautiously staring at the demon on the throne, scowling, with a wine glass resting on her hand, while the bottle was almost empty. Really?" Ryujin stammered. "She's taking too long." Velverosa's grip on the glass was getting harsher each second. "I suppose it's better this way. I'm still unsure how I'll ask her," she thought depressingly as she raised the glass to her lips and drank it gracefully. "I'm overthinking this. Can't I just ask her like how I ask about everything else?" You're asking why I like you, Queen Vel. Nod. "Are you curious because you've fallen for me too?" She could literally imagine Mallory's annoying smirk while asking that. Crack. As she broke an arm of the chair, goosebumps rose on Ryujin's body because of the queen's behavior. Scary. The queen is so scary when pissed. Even the bat was scared. Chumpy. Forget that. I'm better off locking her up in the dungeon. That way, she won't ever have to bother me again, she scoffed while tossing the broken part on the ground. Yes, and to get the answers I want, I can always resort to torture. She smirked. Oh, how she can already imagine Mallory writhing and panting while begging her to stop. It hurts. Mallory whimpered while being chained to the dungeon wall on all fours, like a dog obeying whatever its master wants it to do. "After going all this, can you still say you love me?" Velverosa smirked and licked her lips sensually while holding Mallory's chin, making her face her. "And my feelings still haven't changed, my queen. After all, what now? What is even happening over there?" The curious duo was still watching from the corner before the main door opened, harshly revealing the girl Velverosa was fantasizing about. "Queen Vel, I am here," Mallory yelled with a bright smile. Well, not as bright as how the queen's face literally lit up when she saw the mage. "And I brought party members with me." Now Velverosa could also see 3 party members behind her. The queen's bright face disappeared as fast as it came. The demon crushed the empty glass that was still on her hand, making the remaining wine inside to splatter on the stone floor. Darkness, anger, disbelief. Those were the only emotions evident on the queen's face. This is the demon queen. She looks awful in the posters, but she's actually a total hottie, as she is quite a beauty indeed. Mallory, she broke her wine glass. Are you sure we're going to be okay? Jeongyeon panicked. I don't know. The look on Mallory's face was enough to let Jeongyeon know they were really gonna die. Who? Just who? Velverosa stood up from her throne and pointed at them. "Are these people?" she yelled angrily. When Mallory finally got herself together, she cleared her throat. "We've come, Demon Queen. You may have beaten me many times before, but this time, it will surely be a victory for humanity." Velverosa's eye twitched. "Why are you talking like that? It usually goes like, oh my queen, you look lovely as ever. How I wish you'd let me stay in your throne room so I can keep staring at you. I'm also content just being in the same room as you, breathing in the throne room." A constant barrage of pickup lines. "Hey Chumpy, so you're being distant because you've got companions? I don't know what you're plotting, but hey Queenie, instead of fighting us, how about me and my friend take you out for a drink?" The archer invited with a blushing face that caught a jealous squirrel's attention and immediately snapped her neck at that saying. She grabbed the archer by the collar and slapped him. What the heck? Just why are you hitting on her?" Mallory yelled with a clenched jaw. Velverosa was not gonna lie, she shivered at that. "I hired you to use your full power against her. Not this. What are you even talking about? We are here to defeat her, kill her. Have you forgotten about the 50 million? Now, it was Velverosa's turn to hear this. "Oh, did I hear that right?" A vein appeared on the demon's neck. "Kill me, you say?" The aura coming from the queen was enough to make their knees buckle, but they held it. And at this moment Mallory knew. She fucked up. F-18. "Kill me, you say?" "Shoot, I didn't mean it like that. But I just... well, shit. So you dare bring these pigs to my throne room, and now you show your true self," she said coldly while walking down the stairs to her throne, as expected from an ancestor of Satan. "As I have thought, you humans are all the same," she gritted her teeth harshly. What is she talking about? The archer asked while holding his bow tightly. I have no idea too. She's definitely misunderstanding this. Enough of the chatter. Velverosa stomped her foot on the ground, making black gas-like magic surround the area. Come and fight me. A killing intent was present in her eyes as sparks arouse. What? Everything turned black. It's a field magic to protect the surrounding area. Mallory, being the intellect she is, immediately figured out the love of her life didn't plan on holding back. Everyone, prepare yourselves. Be on your guard. Mallory went on a specific stance and started her own work. Magic defense boost. Golden light surrounded the member's body, boosting their magic drastically. Grand Inferno. She jumped above the humans as neon red light was shot at them, making a huge explosion below. But luckily Mallory was quick and casted a barrier to each of the members, or else they would have already died at one shot. Even with our defenses buffed, we still receive a significant amount of damage, thought Mallory while scratched were already painting her body. As expected of the Demon Queen, a small smile made it to her face even in this situation, but a hand emerged from the smoke in front of her even before she could react. It grabbed her neck harshly. Mallory was frozen on her spot. Wind shot. Silver arrows were shot from nowhere, hitting the queen on the back, making her let go of the girl. You're not getting to our mage that easily. The archer yelled from behind the smoke. Mallory was still frozen on her spot until soft a hand grabbed her wrist, broke her from her trance. Mallory, this way. It was Jeongyeon. She pulled her up and ran together. Are you okay? While they were running, Jeongyeon asked worriedly. But Mallory didn't answer because she was stuck in her own thoughts. I can't believe it. She created an opportunity so she could slide past the defenses I prepared, and went straight for my neck, she said, caressing her neck. After the archer's attack, Velverosa staggered up with darkness still present in her eyes and growled, obviously aiming her harsh words to the mage. You're such a dumb brat. When I'm done with these goons, I'll beat you out of your skin. Really out to get me? Yikes. Mallory cried internally with tears building up. Queen Vel burned the letters. With a bitter smile, Mallory asked Nayan sadly. Unfortunately, yes. Nayan answered, sorrow present in her tone. I see. She was terribly sad, and that was the moment Mallory wanted to give up on the queen. Even though I trained so hard just to be able to meet her, it was all for naught, huh? If she really doesn't want me, then there's nothing I could do. Nayan really felt sorry for Mallory because of the terrible queen's behavior, so she decided to give her an idea. She cupped Mallory's sad face, startling the latter. Well, there is one thing, she said with a warm granny smile showing her bunny teeth. Why don't you defeat her? Mallory was terribly confused. What do you mean, miss him? Nayan started to explain. You see, demons heed those who are more powerful than them. Authority is established through strength. We mainly held tournaments to determine our leader as opposed to your kind. Mallory was interested now. Why, our dear Queen Vel became queen by knocking out the top candidate for Demon King with a single punch. Nayan laughed, remembering how candidate was sneaking up behind Velverosa, but she sensed it and spun around when the guy was close enough. She punched him directly on the face, potentially breaking his nose while yelling, keep your distance, you uncultured swine. Really? That's amazing. All sadness disappeared and awe was the only thing Mallory was now feeling. If she wasn't in simping with Demon before, she sure was now. I know, right? That guy said he got defeated in such a shameful way. He became a shut-in. He could have been in my place at the tower if he wanted to, but he just said he didn't care and just let us run the tower ourselves. So you see, Mallory, if you would be able to beat Queen Vel, you may just be able to get her to listen to you. Nayan gave her a smile again. The maid's face became red and her heart fluttered at the last part of Nayan's plan regarding their queen. But I don't want to beat her up. Is there no other way? Can't I just talk to her or something? You kick her ass or she kicks yours, you choose, Mallory. Nayan rolled her eyes. She has been spending too much time with Jenny. What about cooking her delicious food? Mallory was really getting desperate now. She burns everything you give her, doesn't she? That makes no difference even if it's food. Unless it's bread. I've been doing a lot of work to pave your way to the queen. I hope that when you finally get the chance to lay next to each other, you'll provide me the juicy details, for my fanfic hoo-hoo. What do you mean, miss him? Like, lying in bed together. A pink hue painted Mallory's cheeks slightly while imagining what the Lamia was portraying. Holding hands. After you two she already knew where this was going because she was as bright as a tomato now, so she immediately cut the perverted Lamia off. Such matters are meant to be private. Jeonji's a pervert, she's a pervert. Perfect couple, right? Mallory's outburst made the Lamia chuckle before turning serious again. Mallory, that is the only way, is to convince her. What Nayan stated made Mallory sigh heavily. Fine, I'll do it. If that's the only way, then so be it. The mage furrowed her brows unsurely. It's settled then, fight hard and never give up, Mallory. See ya, cheered the Lamia while turning around about to go, before Mallory called her again. Miss Malathea, why are you even doing this for me? This is treason on your part, isn't it? Now it was the Lamia's turn to let out a shaky sigh. I'm not entirely sure either. I just feel unusually calm around you. It's strange, but I think I can trust you even if you're a human. You won't do our queen any harm, right, Mallory? It seemed that Nayan wasn't asking for any assurance. She wanted a final and sincere answer from the girl. The mage clenched her fists that was on her sides before stammering out an answer. And no, I won't. She was unsure at first but decided to get her crap together and just answer more sternly. Take this, the archer yelled while crouching as he shot his light tri-arrows at the demon. But the latter just nonchalantly dodged them all. She wasn't even breaking a sweat. When she knew that she avoided them all, she sensed something coming up from behind her. The bald guy swung his axe downward. It didn't hit the queen because she jumped away from the attack. It only made the ground rumble a bit and a crack on the floor formed. He pulled his axe out and swung swiftly at the queen again and again. The woman was just sidestepping left and right to dodge his attacks without even attacking back. I see, you can't cast your spells if we just barraged you with attacks like this, eh? He smirked. The licensed adventurers were giving it all they got on the attacks. Jeongyeon was in front of Mallory, shielding her with her stance from any possible harm aimed at her. Explode. The mage cast it as runes only she knows how to read formed around her outstretched arm. A huge explosion came from below the demon, hitting her directly while the bald one almost got himself caught up with the explosion, so he stepped back a bit. We got her, Mallory joyfully said. Even with all the smoke it caused, you could still see Mallory's bright smile. Hey Missy, be careful when you used your spells, you almost blew me off, yelled the bald one. Well, I don't really care much on what happens to you, Mallory thought, but still apologized with a sarcastic smile. The guy was too busy glaring at Mallory that he didn't notice a red light in the smoke forming behind his back. Mallory noticed it, but it was too late because it already turned into a spike and stabbed him from the back. The pointy end went out his stomach disgustingly. Dark red blood splattered down his stomach and onto the cold floor. The other two finally noticed because, well, how wouldn't they? A bloody loud scream echoed on the walls. They looked at where a frozen Mallory was staring at. Their mouths went agape in horror and at disbelief at what they saw. What? The archer stammered when he saw his traveling companion that was stabbed as if he was a marshmallow on a stick, as if he was ready to be cooked in the fiery pits of hell. The boy was too frozen on his place that, as per happened to the guy, more red light formed from the smoke. It shot spikes at them like a heavy loaded machine gun. It only registered to him when one scraped his dainty arm. Jeongyeon pushed Mallory out of the way harshly as she saw a spear-looking one heading straight for them. This is bad. Malori, move. As she said it, the said spear struck her straight in the stomach. It damaged her organs as it stroked through them and out her back with a loud crack. She spat out a lot blood with a scream that could even wake up the dead. Spears crafted from magical energy. That was Jeongyeon's last thought as she stared at nothing with half-lidded eyes. Everything went in slow motion as she face-planted on the floor that was pooled with her blood. Jehyeongi, Mallory cried as she hurried into her almost dead friend. How disappointing. A cold voice pierced through the dead silence. If you think all I can do is shoot spells from afar, then you've sorely underestimated me. The queen angrily said through gritted teeth. She was holding spears much like the one Jeongyeon had just been almost killed with. Her heels clacked noisily on the bloody floor. The sound eerily echoed in Mallory's ears because there was no other sound that could be heard other than that. Mallory's pupils dilated in fear as she stared at the taller one coming towards them with that dark killing intent aura covering her body. She remembered what Miss Im said to her. You won't do our queen any harm, right, Mallory? I'll be rooting for you. Miss Malathea, I have terrible news for you. It looks like defeating the demon queen won't be easy. However, I know it's stupid, but seeing how strong and capable she is right now, I can't help but fall in love with her more. Mallory blushed as she was stuck in a simping daze because of the queen. Goddammit, Mallory, I'm dying here, just heal me already. An angry Jeongyeon, whose face was still on the ground, she wailed in pain as Mallory just pressed on her still open wound to make her shut up. This battle isn't turning out well. Whenever I fully restore my member's health, she just cuts it in half again. I'm also almost out of recovery items. And my healing spell isn't going to cover the damage. We're making some progress, but at this point we're already dead. Mallory threw a red healing elixir at the archer, who was unaware, so it just broke on his head instead. It became -10 health instead of getting added because of the way it hit him. You stupid support. Are you trying to kill me? The archer asked, annoyed, while the mage just cursed in her mind because of the wasted potion. Mallory, what are we gonna do? They'll die and we'll be wide open. Jeongyeon panicked. I am thinking, Mallory replied nervously. The elegant queen jumped high in front of the bald guy as she graciously winded up the spear behind her. She slashed it on the man's chest. His clothes ripped open and his wounded skin could be seen as if it was clawed because it had rip marks. He groaned in pain and staggered backwards because of the ferocious attack. Her movements are so graceful. It's hard to think. Mallory covered her face with her hands because she was blushing. Jeongyeon already knew what this was about and bonked Mallory's head with the back of her hand. Mallory slapped her back and asked what was that for but didn't let her speak as she just shoved all the remaining elixirs in her inventory in Jeongyeon's arms. Here, take these. You handle the healing while I cast the spell. Make sure they catch them so they won't take any more damage. Mallory stated as she dropped her palm on the floor as golden runes that again, she was the one that could fully understand appeared on the floor and chanted something repeatedly. Jeongyeon could make out it was shy. She didn't know why but she shrugged it off. Wow, Mallory, these items aren't enough to fully recover their health. Jeongyeon interrupted. Shut up. She continued her work accordingly to what she had been working on. You have more elixirs, right? Give them to me. Jeongyeon was not gonna wait until they get wiped out. I said shut up, I'm saving them. The mage was also not backing down. While the hired adventurers were being kicked in the ass they were arguing. Malori. You Jeongyeon, just do what I told you and keep them alive for long enough. Jeongyeon really triggered a nerve in Mallory because never yelled this angry before. What? Jeongyeon didn't get to finish when the runes got bigger and lightning came out from it like a storm. Mallory smirked and mumbled finally, casting this spell takes way too long. A devilish smile grew on the mage's face. My trump card, a new high-level spell I've been working on. The adventurers who were currently tired from fighting the demon queen glanced behind them and was amazed at this display. We're saved. They both cried in unison. Mallory raised her palm in the air, and the lightning followed her command as she muttered something they couldn't hear before smirking. The queen glared harder because even she was clueless on what the brat was about to do. As she yelled that sparks of lightning went straight at them at full speed as blinding golden light hit the queen powerfully. That was one of the strongest magic Mallory had ever made, and it even made the whole chamber tremble, and become much more of an aftermath of a battle. Jeongyeon was staring at the scene in horror and at disbelief that Mallory could conjure something as powerful as that. Smoke was spreading all throughout the area, but what the cleric saw was clear enough to haunt her dreams every night. Among the smoke was 2 caskets that fell on the floor with a blunt thud. Why you? Jeongyeon slowly turned to Mallory as if her whole body was experiencing harsh fatigue. Killed our teammates. The cleric glared at Mallory, but the mage wasn't affected one bit. They would have died either way. At least they were able to buy us some time. Besides, look. Mallory pointed that also among the caskets was a certain smoking hot demon who was having a little hard time standing up. Because of her wound, and that attack took more than half of her health. We've done quite a lot of damage. Now, we have a chance. Mallory smirked. Mallory and Jeongyeon was staring at the weakened queen who was trying to stand up properly and was trying to give us her usual blank and cold face, but she was failing miserable because of the still lingering pain on her body because of the attack. Mallory was very conflicted because half of her was saying that they were gonna win because she was very weakened now. If Mallory just finished her off right at that moment, but the other half wasn't going to back down and very worried that she badly hurt her queen and was saying sorry repeatedly. Mallory's mind. I say we stop this and help her. The good side of Mallory pushed. Are you nuts? We're finishing this. Her bad side argued while pulling the other one's hair. We're in the middle of a battle, stay focused. Real Mallory scolded. Hey, aren't you forgetting something important here? Another conflicted emotion said behind them. Queen Vel in her weakened state, isn't she pretty hot? Horny Mallory said with a thumbs up as her nose bled. The mage slapped herself in real life to snap her out of her trance. Now's not the time for simping, you dumbass. Jeongyeon furrowed her brows. Are you okay? What were yo? Yeah, don't mind me. Mallory waved her off to show her nothing was wrong. It's okay. Everything's gonna be fine, Mallory. This is for the best. I'm sorry for doing this, Queen Vel. Mallory stared at the queen longingly. This will be over soon. She muttered before she saw the queen grin darkly, feeling victorious for landing a single high-damage spell. Don't get cocky so soon, you brat. She smirked bemused at the last 2. With no one to cover for you, it won't take long for me to send you both to your deaths. She raised her palm up as a spear made of magic energy formed out of thin air, and threw it at them at a speed no human could ever possess. Their guard raised up immediately as they saw the point getting closer to their field of view. Jeongyeon was the first one to react as she shielded Mallory with her body and sword ready use skill. Deflect. She winded up her sword and battered, hit the approaching spear away from them. Mallory stared with awe from behind her woe. Leave this to me, Mallory. Go cast your spells. Jeongyun got ready again as more spears were coming directly at them. You don't have to tell me. I expect you to defend after all. The latter went to a stance again as Jeongyun continued deflecting the queen's attacks accordingly. Alright, just a few more hits and her runes got ruined when she heard something shattering. It was Jeongyun's sword. No, fuck this stupid cheap equipment. The cleric yelled. The demon smirked when she found the correct moment to strike again. She didn't think twice as she made lots explosions around them. All their HP dropped from half to less than a quarter. After all the smoke subsided, the chamber was littered with blood, remains of the broken walls and debris. The air, which would normally be soft and carry a gentle breeze even if there were no windows, is now thick with the stench of magical energy, blood, gore and death. There was no coming back from this. Where are you? Mallory yelled with a strained voice. Then she heard shuffling from behind a rock. She was ready to kill whatever it was, but when she saw it was just her friend, she relaxed. I am here. I'm mostly dead, but I'm here. Then they felt a presence coming towards them, demonic and sinister. They both slowly raised their heads, flinching a lot because of the pain. There stood Queen Velverosa in all her glory, cold eyes glowing and dull fangs baring. They shivered because she looked like she was about to eat them alive. Jeongyun was fast to react because she gritted her teeth, and before the demon could get too close to them, she stood up and pulled Mallory by the collar before sprinting away like their life depended on it. Well, actually, it did. With the adrenaline rush, the pain didn't matter, and Jeongyun was basically doing most of the running and was just dragging Mallory on the floor like a rag. The cleric didn't care for her friend at the moment because she just wanted to get out of there alive, more or less. When Mallory finally got the strength to talk, she argued to her friend Yu Jeongyun. We can't run, you're my last line of defense. Attack her, distract her, at least do something while I cast my spells. Alright, Ms. Smartass, attack her with what exactly? My sword broke, remember. If you wanted somebody who'd be your suicidal bodyguard, then you should have gotten a fricking paladin. I'm just a basic cleric. Jeongyun was obviously not gonna back down. What's a paladin? Oh, don't tell me they don't exist here, or are you just dumb? Who are you calling dumb? I'm a rank above yo, Mallory, duck. Mallory didn't finish when Jeongyun pushed her down by the nape, making her faceplant hard on the floor. I probably broke her nose and tits, but whatever. Both of them were chest down on the floor and holding their heads because the queen aimed lasers at them. Jeonji, I found something you can use as a weapon. Eh? What? Mallory handed Jeongyun a large rock that only deals 3 ATK damage. Now go, beat her with this. Jeongyun was giving her the "Are you serious" face and just dropped the rock on Mallory's head, making her whine in pain. And at that moment, portal-like holes appeared on the ceiling above them, and spears made their appearance again. Jeonji, barrier with me. Jeongyun did as told and casted a barrier with Mallory on her side. It began raining spears on their barrier like an unstoppable storm. I can't believe our barrier is working against all this. Jeongyun celebrated with joyous tears in her eyes. It's only because you're casting it with me, you bloody idiot. While the two were struggling to stay alive, the queen sighed and was just watching from afar with an unamused face and crossed arms. Children, some parts of their barrier was already breaking. This is not good. She'll just keep raining on us until our barrier breaks. We'll both die if this keeps up. Mallory thought before looking over to her friend, who was struggling to cheat death too, before calling her with a loud voice to overbear all this noise. Jeonji, we have to win no matter what, right? No matter what it costs, right? Mallory screamed with a tired smile. Jeongyun saw Mallory's demeanor and offered a warm smile in return. Like what you said a while back. This is the final battle, so let's do what we can. Jeongyun grinned. I'm glad you feel that way. Mallory smiled bitterly. I'm sorry, my friend. That was Mallory's last thought before she sprinted out of the barrier, leaving Jeongyun there to fend for herself. Wah. Jeongyun's last words before the barrier finally fully breaks and all the spears finished her off brutally. Mallory evaded the explosion immediately with her hands covering her eyes so she wouldn't go blind because of the light. She saw her friend's smoky casket fall down with a depressing thud moments later. After a few sorrowful seconds of complete silence, Mallory heard claps from behind the smoke. So, you've just let your friend die, just like that? What an abhorrent little runt you are. Velverosa mused with a dark and menacing grin that could haunt your dreams. It's just the two of us now. Prepare to meet your demise, pathetic human. Mallory exclaimed as her health bar was down to only about 15% because another explosion was shot at her. She blocked her face with her arms because she didn't want anything to interfere with her already weak senses. This is ridiculous. I've just recovered my HP with an elixir, but she already almost killed me with one blow. I've also casted all my health buffs too. Current stats, panic. She took another elixir from her inventory and dashed away while drinking it torridly, leaving the smirking queen to eat her dust. Little squirrel. Why do you keep on running? The queen playfully questioned as she chose to taunt Mallory more with shooting lasers recklessly at her. Because you keep shooting at me. Mallory, who was now back to full health, cried out, the bottle on her lips muffling it slightly. No, don't tell me that my plan will fail now. Mallory's initial plan. First stage, have the hired adventurers battle the queen, increases survivability and chance to deal huge damage. Completed. Second stage, finish her off myself. Requirements, everyone else dead. Mallory was too immersed in her thoughts that she didn't notice the queen shooting fire directly at her legs. Status inflict, burn. HP 40%. The burning pain in her legs made her stumble and land on the floor, whimpering slightly because her forehead was now bleeding heavily because of the fall. I thought I'd be able to handle her alone once we've weakened her, but she just seems to be stronger than usual. Could it be because she's angry? She stared at the queen, who was gliding downwards elegantly. Velverosa blew some smoke from her mouth. That was the exact moment Mallory got a good look at her expression. Shit, she is. The mage's heart went down to her butt because of fear. If that's the case, then I have to explain everything to her first. She finally got the strength to stand up. Let me clear things up, Queen Vel. She called to the still angry queen. It was all just an act. My goal still hasn't changed, to beat you and make you my bride. Now, that hit a nerve because Velverosa's eye twitched because of anger. And what makes you think I'll agree to such terms? Velverosa's brown eyes glowed intimidatingly. But it didn't work on Mallory because she was very used to seeing those every time she visits. Isn't that how demon affair works? Mallory furrowed her brows innocently. Ms. M once told me that some demons had to battle to decide their marriage. She said cutely. Nayon. Why, that slithering bick. Velverosa's internal manifesting of the snake's death was interrupted by Mallory's sad tone. Queen Vel, did you doubt my feelings? She stuttered brokenly. It's no lie that I love you very much. Velverosa's gaze softened at the mage's words. She was asking her mind why the heck was her chest tightening at Mallory's sad face. I'm sorry that you misunderstood me. Come here. Mallory opened her arms outwards. This'll stop her tantrum. I'll give you a hug. She continued, showing a smile that would melt anyone's heart. Velverosa took a deep breath and slowly walked towards Mallory. She was finally in front of her. Mallory was expecting a hesitant but warm hug, but that was just her having high hopes because she was just met with Velverosa's knee hitting her stomach. The mage wasn't ready for that unexpected move. But what do you expect? It was the demon queen they were talking about. Mallory was sure she puked out her lunch. The demon queen isn't in the mood for sweet talk. Got it, she thought as she stumbled backwards a bit but regained her balance before continuing to woo the queen. It's true. I had to pause so much in our battle because you dazzle me and leave me in awe. The queen didn't know what to feel, so she just ordered Mallory to shut up and kicked her in the face with her heel. This caused Mallory to fully fall on the floor harshly. Velverosa began to blast her with her fire again. Of course, she still had to survive and clear things up with her queen, so despite the pain, Mallory stood up and jumped out of the way. Even when you're out to kill me, I still find you very stunning. Shut up, shut up, shut up. Explosion after explosion while telling her to shut up when you're literally blushing is basic tease on your shit. Why won't you just shut that little trap of yours? Yeah, well, why don't you just kiss me so I'll shut up? For every pickup line, a fireball is thrown. Flashback, Fulstina District. Mallory was walking around the distinct streets of Fulstina while asking herself how would she defeat the demon queen alone. What do I do? Once I'm done with my party members, it'll be another one-on-one with her. And I wouldn't be able to cast my spells since she's too fast. Even if my quick spellcast buff wouldn't be enough to help me, she'll just slaughter me immediately if I stick to my usual fighting style. She rubbed her chin thoughtfully before leaning on a wall. Maybe I should buy equipment that boosts casting speed. No, the cost of those would run into thousands, but if I get the cheaper ones, those won't provide enough stat boosts though. There must be an alternative way that I can. At that moment, the corner of her eye caught sight of an item inside a shop wall she was leaning on. She slammed her face on the glass, making the people who were shopping peacefully to look at her weirdly, but she didn't care. This is it. How could have I been so blind? She screamed with stars in her eyes. These things have always been in the shops and I've overlooked them like an idiot. Oh Lord. Come to think of it, Senior has always forbid me from using these. She remembers all the times her mentor explaining. No, more like scolding her from these because according to her it's shameful for a mage to be using such items. She said if a mage uses those, it's much alike to a gourmet chef to be serving their guests instant noodles. She also said that she should avoid resorting to such conveniences and master her magic instead. So little Mallory couldn't do anything more than just nod. But her master just continued and threatened her that if she disobeys she'll turn her into a toad. place her in a jar and make her feast on flies, or make her spend a week with a masochist demon again. Which was pretty ironic because when she was kidnapped her senior didn't come to look for her. Mallory shivered at those memories. She shook it off and looked at the price, which made her shake more. The price is pretty steep for me. 450 G. She turned away and whispered, whatever master, I don't care if I have to throw my pride away in order to win. It's the only way I'll be able to stand a chance against the Demon Queen. Demon Tower. Caught you, the Queen said while gripping Mallory's wrist harshly. You can't run now. Come here and take your beating. She yelled while Mallory was blushing with a dark look in her eyes that the Queen knew all too well. You hit so hard. Can you please be more gentle? A blushing Mallory mewed while biting her lips seductively. Just what are you saying? And why the hell are you blushing? A still enraged demon yelled, her grip on her wrist loosening a bit. But that moment of the Queen's guard crumbling was enough for Mallory to take out the item she was eyeing before. She gripped it in her palm and slapped it on the Queen's face. That was the only way to activate it. What can she do? Item, magic scroll. Item made specifically for battle, instantly casts spells on target upon release. Comes in different elements. Ice blast. When it came in contact with the Queen's smooth face, crystal-shaped ice emerged. It made cyber blue lightning from the impact of its activation. Mallory took that opportunity to jump backwards, the floor making a small dent because of her landing. I'm sorry, Queen Vel. More magic scrolls emerged from her inventory. She was making them float with her magic. But I'll make you listen to me, no matter what. She clenched her fists. However, I know you're upset, that's why. I'd freely submit to your whipping, once we're married. Mallory blushed hard. Would you mind how you phrase things? You're just so damn aggravating. The demon then proceeded to throw a fireball at her. Meanwhile in Nayan's chamber. Hell, Mallory, you're dumb. Dumb, 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 the snake woman repeated while face-palming because of what she just witnessed in the crystal camera. When she grabbed you, why didn't you jump at the chance to kiss her or hug her? You're turning my romance novel into action. Nayan dragged on as she continued rambling while pinching the bridge of her nose disappointedly. Maybe it was a mention our ideology to Mallory. She's taking it too seriously. She's not even trying to make Queen Vel fall for her anymore. She's just demanding absolute authority. She sighed heavily. Oh well, the battle is almost over. Let's see where this will take her. At least there's still a chance for an angry makeup session. Nayan placed her cheek on her palm, continuing to watch what was happening. If you're wondering where Kyung is, she's just behind Nayan, silently judging her senior's behavior. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you want to watch more videos like this one. I have a lot of great stories for you to enjoy. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.